Hey, I am officially past the embargo point on Full Metal Furies, so at this point all I could really do is I could do raw gameplay of the part before the embargo, or just show some techniques which won't really affect what I can't show. But if you're expecting more of that, you'll have to wait until the release date. What I'm probably going to do in the meantime is I will record some stuff, and then once the embargo drops I'll just dump it all on here. And today I wanted to give some feedback on Knights of Valor. Some people have asked about the shortcomings of it, and the game doesn't have a lot of English information aside from the couple people that are making the guides. There's Doc Hung, Grow870, myself, and there's one other person I don't know. We're pretty much providing all the resources. So I think people just want to know what the problems are of the game before they jump in, which is understandable. I don't think this game is too time consuming. It doesn't have a fatigue system, but you will eventually run out of lives, and that basically prevents you from playing for at least 30 minutes, if not 90 minutes. If you run out of lives and you have 3 lives, then it will take 90 minutes to recover. So you can't really play it all day. You are going to get hit eventually. You are going to run out of health and stuff. So that part's not a problem. If you don't like a lot of the Korean MMOs like DFO and Closers, how they limit how much you can play, then you should definitely check this out, because the limit here is far more lax. Now, the first problem with this game, you hear a lot of people say this, is there's really not a whole lot to spend the in-game currency on. You can basically spend it on, these items. All this stuff is pretty much junk, and your dark weapon. The dark weapon, to be fair, you do put a couple million into that, but I could easily get another 2 or 3 million just by selling all the junk I have in my inventory right now. So that's a total non-issue. There needs to be more to spend money on. Now, the Silver Dragon Wish has kind of fixed that problem. It's definitely a step in the right direction. Now, the best thing you can get out of here is probably the forging materials and the lions. The rest is basically junk. I'll go ahead and I'll do a 10+1 right now. This is basically the only free way to upgrade your mercenaries, so I'm glad that they added this. Oh wow, I got 2 gold lions and Tempest Steel. So this kind of fixes the problem, but you do need a pretty large sum of it, so some people aren't too happy. Now, the loot boxes in this game are actually not that bad when you think about it. Pretty much everything is usable. It took me about, I'd say, $26 and several free rolls to get Zhang Bao. But I ended up getting enough other stuff. I think I had 6 lions, a combination of gold and silver lions, that I was able to use to get him to level 42 pretty much instantly. So it didn't really bother me too much. It's not like loot boxes where you just get nothing but junk. Pretty much everything in the Gold Dragon Wish is useful. The Reforged Stones are nice if you get a good drop, but the Awakening skills on it are junk. You can re-roll them. You can also re-roll the stats. The Ethereal Crystals you're always going to need. Spirits and Hero Spirits are always really good. The Refined Gold and Mystic Silver, once we get Area 6, those are definitely going to come in handy, way more than they are now. It's not a bad idea to stockpile them. Pretty much all the mercenaries are good. The ones that you would definitely want to go for are the Revolve Longspear and the Cannon Striker, if you can't get Zhang Bao. So you can't really complain about them too much. It is always worth spending money on. However, there are going to be several more rare mercenaries in the future, so you don't want to go too crazy. So the biggest problem with this game, in my opinion, is just the layers of RNG. It is really hard to get anything actually worth equipping. You'll have to grind 5-4 over and over and over just for a chance to get the armor that you need, and it can get pretty repetitive just simply because of how long the level is. Like DFO, for instance, that game's got a ton of RNG, but what sets that game apart is that the main elements of the game that you grind the RNG out on, they take maybe a minute per run. Here it takes at least 10 minutes unless you have a really good party, and due to the way that the the enemies, like their HP scales, due to how many people you have in the party. If you can't pull your weight, then it's going to take longer to finish. They definitely should lower the scaling. In some ways, it actually like discourages partying. It's a lot harder to carry somebody because you're basically having to, I don't know exactly how much it scales, but it's a significant amount. I've never really agreed with it. I think it's a little bit excessive how much they scale. I think that at the very least they should lower the scaling, and worst case scenario they should make it so that the scaling is removed when someone leaves. If they disconnect or they rage quit because they don't have enough lives, you shouldn't have to be stuck fighting scaled enemies. It seems like the RNG on this version is like even worse than the other version, which I didn't think was possible. The RNG in this game has always been pretty bad, to put it nicely, and it doesn't seem like they have improved it at all. It seems like they've made it worse somehow. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. I don't have any inside information or anything, but it just feels like it is worse, and there's just too many layers. It doesn't help that you have to do the boss levels just to get a chance to get anything good, and they take exponentially longer than the other levels. So it's kind of a mixed bag, honestly. I think that if they reduce the RNG, it would make it a lot easier to level multiple characters, which is obviously what they want you to do. You want to spend more money on the game than, you know, ideally you level other characters up. But here you don't even really have that option. Like, it's such a grind to get anything. I was really thankful when they had the SSX event on the Taiwanese version, where you got a bunch of decent gear just for leveling her up. I thought that that was really awesome. They need to do stuff like that more often, but I think ideally they should just make it so there's a higher drop rate on stuff that's actually, you know, for your respective class or character. Like from that Silver Dragon Wish, I got enough to boost him up 4 levels, which is pretty awesome. So they have kind of fixed the issue of there just not being enough stuff to spend money on. But the RNG is just, it's ridiculous in this game. I don't know why it's as bad as it is. One suggestion that Grow870 and I suggested was that they should just... You have the option of setting a character as a leader. We suggested to them that they should make it so when you set a character as a leader, most if not all of the drops should go to them. Basically right now, it seems like you have an increased chance of the items in the drop pool going towards your character, but you still will get stuff for other characters, which sometimes can be a blessing in disguise. Sometimes you'll get a best-in-slot item, or a really good item at least, for another character. But when you're grinding with the same character over and over and you keep getting drops for a character you don't have, it's really demoralizing. I think that they should really do something about it. I think that the RNG is definitely one of the bigger barriers in this game than the grind itself. The grind is not that bad. If you can get somebody to carry you on Zhang Yu, it will only take about maybe 20 to 25 runs, depending on how far you are, to get enough souls or spirits to promote from 59 to 60. Even less than that if you're going from 40 to 50 or 49 to 50. So I don't think that part is that bad. It's more just a matter of who you know. If you have some connections, you can grind that pretty quickly. But you can see from the stuff that I have here, I have complete junk, and it's not like I haven't been playing this game either. I've been playing it a pretty significant amount, and I still don't really have anything of note aside from Zhang Bao, which took me a pretty ridiculous amount of grinding to get. I'm still using level 20 armor just because nothing else has dropped. I think it's something that they need to address, but so far we haven't really heard anything from them in regards of you know, whether this will ever be fixed or not. The other problem, the final problem I have with this game, or the final major problem I have with this game, is that the bosses pretty much just devolve into just spamming moves, your supers, over and over. The combo system kind of falls apart on them, which is just frustrating. You know, they let you do stuff on the bosses, on the regular enemies, but when you get to the bosses, they pretty much are just in permanent hyper armor, or it's so hard to break their armor gauge that you can't even really do anything interesting. I would like for that to be fixed, because it's definitely one of the more discouraging parts of this game. It's just, you can't have fun on the bosses for the most part. I had a build on the Taiwanese version where I kind of could, but that's obviously not going to happen to everybody. It would be nice if they encouraged learning the combo system more than they do now. Right now, they heavily encourage just spamming over and over, which is fun to an extent, but I think that the combo system should be rewarded. Anyway, that's basically my issues with this game. Hopefully they'll be fixed in the near future. It seems like the RNG on this is even worse than the other version. I have far less good gear to work with than I did on the other version. And Grow870 has pointed that out as well. It seems like something is wrong. Maybe they unintentionally broke something, but it's just it's a ridiculous grind to get anything. It's kind of demoralizing past a certain point. So hopefully they'll hear us out and they'll fix it. But yeah, I'll be playing this more once I finish Full Metal Furies. I want to kind of get some good content for that out before it releases so that I can just dump it all on the channel and help people out. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.